Captain's Log, Day 37. My journey is nearing its end, and I shall soon be able to see my family again.
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Hobbyman P, and this is Hobby News, the channel where we give you all the quick info you would need to pick up a new hobby. Tonight's top story: journaling. When talking about this, we're going to be going over our 3 key points, those being how to get started, your budget, and the potential for growth. So grab your pens and take some notes. I was so young. Now, many of you, if you're like me, have already attempted journaling when you were younger, maybe be it by your own choice or through school. But I'm here to talk about now why you may want to be considering picking it back up, how it could be beneficial to you, and how to get started. Now, journaling or diary keeping, whichever floats your boat, has been around for centuries, being used by all sorts of people. And the 2 primary purposes of it are either to just for record keeping, to keep up your memories, or to be able to look back upon your past self and be able to see what kind of growth you've made from it. And all you really need to get started is just a writing utensil and a piece of parchment, and you are good to get writing. Now, journaling can certainly be one of the easiest hobbies to pick up, but when it comes to being committed to doing it on a routine basis, it can be one of the most challenging. The reason being is because a lot of times it'll be very difficult to find motivation to write something, especially since you will be the primary audience for it and not anyone else. However, once you get through these first steps, you'll actually come to realize how rewarding journaling can feel when you look back upon it, and you'll see how much progress you've made. When starting out with journaling, you're most likely going to come across a few questions for yourself. These are usually going to be: what should I start with? What should I write about? And how often should I write? Which is why the first key thing to journaling is to give yourself a smaller goal to work with. Usually I would recommend that you give yourself a goal such as writing 1 paragraph for every week, and then after a few weeks to build it out into maybe eventually writing something every day. And then you're going to want to start figuring out what you want to write about. You can always start writing things about your day-to-day life and activities, or something as simple as what was your highlight of the week. And you can write a paragraph again every weekend or so, or whenever you want to write. Or you can branch into other different types of journals. There's food journals where you track what you eat and what you want to eat, or maybe what you cooked and baked and things like that. There's travel journals, there's medical journals, although that's for you to decide if you want to do that. The point is that the possibilities are really endless, so which is why all it's really up to you is figuring out what path you want to go with and what works best for your lifestyle and your schedule. Now that we've approached the topic of the budget, there's something that I want to clarify. You don't actually need a writing utensil and a piece of paper. And the reason being is, living in this digital world, you can actually just create journals digitally by using either your phone, tablet, computer, or easy bake oven. Maybe not that last one. However, due to the sheer amount of technology that exists and your options, and the fact that you're already watching this video, and you probably have a sense of how technology works, I'm not going to really go into the budget of what you can do virtual journaling with. However, we're going to talk about the physical aspects of journaling, where you're going to need paper and writing utensil. And the good news I have is that it is super cheap, in that it could actually be one of the cheapest hobbies you could get into. Assuming you don't already have your own pens and pencils at home, these will cost you around $2 for a pack of few. The next thing you're going to want to get yourself is probably a small wide-ruled notebook, which again will cost you less than $10, usually in that $5 to $7 range. After that, you can just get writing, and that can last you quite a bit, depending on your schedule and how often you're writing. Now, of course, you can always look into getting yourself fancy designer notebooks and super fancy pens and pencils, but I'll leave that part of the budget up to your decision. As we enter our last topic, that being the potential for growth, I want to make sure you've been taking notes. If you have been, then guess what? You've already got a knack for this hobby. If you haven't, well then, you're just like me, and you can just come back and watch this video. However, when it comes to potential for growth, there's going to be a few ways in which you can go about doing this. The first of which is really just to work on developing your writing style, working on your grammar, working on your writing techniques, and then working on how long your entries are. The next area that you can look into is expanding the topics that you write on. Earlier, before I mentioned creating journals on cooking or medicinal purposes. Well, depending which one you already started with, maybe it's time that you want to look into journals on other entries and other areas. There's also a chance that you may love writing so much that you may even want to write and publish your own book. Now, regardless of the path that you choose, journaling will always be there for you as a hobby you can pick up at any time or point in your life, and you'll always be grateful that you did, because when you look back at it as you grow older, you'll be able to see what kind of person you were back in the day, and it's something that can never be taken from you. And that's all we have time for today here at Hobby News. We hope you were able to learn something new, and just maybe you're ready to jot down your own thoughts. Be sure to subscribe to see what hobby we cover next. And when it comes to hobbies, write down in the comments below, what do you do?